Hi, and thanks for joining me for this sourcing webinar. We're going to look at one specific job requirement and analyze it. We will analyze the technical vocabulary, we will analyze the role itself, and then dive deeper to how to actually find the specific IT professional. So let's dive right in.
Today, guys, we will source IT product managers. Yeah, Elizabeth, totally. Long time no see. We will go through a position that is it's midnight. That is an IT product manager, someone to relocate to Europe. So this is an exciting one, really. It's one of our clients based in the Central Europe, and they are looking for product managers, technical product managers to relocate to Europe. So in today's sourcing webinar, we will analyze this job requirement and also look at a few sourcing strategies. How can we find this product manager, in what countries, where it could be a good fit? So at first, if we just look at the title, IT product manager, you guys by now know that I like to make the title really straightforward. So when someone looks at it, they would really quickly see if they are a good fit or not, because product managers know if they are product managers, right? If a Java developer looks at it, then he would know this may not be a good fit for him or her. So that's why I don't like these vague titles or some misleading titles like product ninja or ninja developer, right? Like, it doesn't really, like, there was this hype around it years ago, but now it's just not in anymore. And some of these common titles like software developer, software engineer, senior software engineer, like, it doesn't tell you anything. So that's why, and it's not just product manager, because a product manager can also work in some non-IT field. A product manager can also work in pharmacy, right? But we are looking for a technical product manager. So that's why IT product manager, someone who would relocate to Europe. So who exactly are we looking for? The pitch is, would you like to work at one of the leading travel tech companies in the Central Europe? Our client provides innovative travel tech solutions for customers and businesses. Their unique online search engine allows users to combine transportation from carriers that normally do not cooperate. Travel itineraries allow users to combine flights and ground transportation from over 800 carriers. We are looking for a senior technical product manager to join the team in Prague or Brno in the Czech Republic. Okay, so that's briefly introduction about the company. What are the competencies? Of course, when you talk to the hiring manager, they have a long laundry list of requirements, but you can distill it usually to 2 or 3 core competencies, core skills. So they are looking for someone who has been doing the product management for at least 3 years, right? Someone who is not a complete junior. However, also not someone who is overly senior. So not someone with 15 years of experience, because the salary would not be appealing enough for them. Someone who can manage, which means manage the product. It's a product manager. So the person should have the understanding of the product development lifecycle. Someone who can analyze, which means the candidate should have hands-on experience with root cause analysis or cost benefit analysis, ROI discovery. So the product manager should be able to analyze some of the KPIs related to the product. The product manager should also be able to report and analyze data from existing sources using some of the common BI tools, for example, Looker or Kibana dashboards from some existing sources. So this shows us who exactly are we looking for. Someone who can manage the lifecycle, someone who can analyze data and analyze KPIs. Ideally, the person would have experience with some big data, some large data sets, or someone who has worked in a travel industry, or someone who has experience with payment methods. And the way I wrote it this way is that they actually have 3 different job requirements, 3 different JDs, because it's 3 different teams. Since they are a larger company, they are essentially looking for 3 people. 1 person would join the big data team as a product manager. The second person would join the messaging team or travel or whatever team. And the third person would join the financial team as the IT product manager. Like I defaulted to 1 job requirement on our end, even though the client has 3 different JDs. But I would just say it's so messy for clients, for candidates. They would not know which one to apply, especially if 95%, 99% is the same requirement, the same skills, the same IT background. It's just in one case, they need some data experience, in the other, travel industry, and in the third one, payment methods. And they can relocate from whatever country. So that's why I mix it to 1 JD, and it's a job description, and it is easier to forward it to developers or product managers in this case, this way. So otherwise, I have these screening questions. Do you have at least 3 years of experience with product management or product ownership? And this brings us to the question, what is the difference between product management and product ownership? Product management is the activity where the specialist, the product manager, takes care of the product as the someone who owns the product. So that's why there is this confusion sometimes between a product owner and product manager. The product manager has the ownership of the product. The product manager is the one who takes care of the roadmap. The product manager talks to different stakeholders. The product manager talks to customers to identify what exactly do they want. So he knows or she knows what are they supposed to develop and why are they supposed to develop it? Who wants the functionality? Why is the functionality important? And then talks to developers so they implement the functionality. The product owner also owns the product, right? Now it's really obvious just from the title. But the product owner works closely with the development team, because the product owner is the role defined in the Scrum methodology. So if you go to Scrum, some description, you would see that Scrum defines some roles, and the roles are Scrum Master, Product Owner, and Development Team. So the product owner is a product manager defined by Scrum, right? So it's a little confusing, but it's just that in Scrum teams, they call product managers product owners. Okay, so they just use the same thing, the same title, the same role, they just rename it to product owner. And the product owner tends to work closely with developers, but also product managers work closely with developers. So it does not mean that product managers don't work closely, but I mean, I don't want to bring more confusion. It also depends on the team setup. In some cases, there are 2 people. One is the product manager, one is the product owner. The product owner may work closely with developers, join their stand-ups, join their retrospective meetings, join their project planning sessions. But the product manager is in touch with those business stakeholders or clients to identify what exactly they want. But in smaller teams, they just have 1 person, and the 1 person talks to clients, customers, stakeholders and also to developers, system analysts, business analysts, so the whole IT team. So that's why in this case, I'm asking the screening question, do you have at least 3 years of experience with product management or product ownership? Not project management, though, because project managers tend to take care of something slightly different. Project managers manage projects that have some starting date and they end at some point. Projects usually have some milestones, and the project manager is supposed to deliver on those milestones within the budget. So project managers usually tend to interact with other stakeholders, business stakeholders as well, but they more focus on the execution of those deadlines and deliverables, but they don't take care of the roadmap. They don't talk to customers or clients. They just focus on the project if the project is on track. So that's why I don't mention here project managers at all. Have you joined Scrum ceremonies with your software development team? This is an important question because it would reveal if the product owner was joining the Scrum stand-ups, the retrospective meetings, and all other ceremonies. And then I would ask a follow-up question. For example, we could ask, how did you organize the stand-ups when team works remotely? The next question is, can you use SQL to analyze your product's performance? What other reporting tools have you used? So SQL is important to analyze data. It's the simplest way to analyze data in a database. Well, maybe not simplest. Simplest would be some tool that makes it even easier. But to run some query is the most straightforward way. You don't even need any advanced tool. You can just connect to a database, write some simple query, select customers from some table where customer ID equals, right? Like you just write some query and there are the results. So product managers who can write some queries are usually more data driven. So with this question, what I would understand if they are more data driven, which comes back to this competency, analyze data. So I don't ask a question, can you analyze data? Because it's just way too vague. It allows to different interpretation. You can analyze data with Excel, but that's not very advanced. That's why I ask, can you use SQL to analyze your product's performance? What other reporting tools have you used? Have you worked in a product company or a high-tech startup? So this client particularly wants product managers who come from other product companies. They don't want someone to come from a bank or an insurance company because they would not have the right product-centric mindset, apparently. Well, that's what the hiring manager believes, even though it may not be 100% true, but that's their preference. Ideally, someone who comes from some high-tech startup, that would be ideal. And would you like to relocate to the Czech Republic? So in this case, I guess they already scouted the local market, and lots of people know about this opportunity. And I guess the reason why they want to relocate people is that the local market is too saturated. So that's the reason why they want to relocate. The sourcing locations, so in other words, where to relocate from, it's Russia, Ukraine, Eastern Europe. And what are some of the sourcing keywords? So when I think about the title, I would go after product managers, technical product managers, IT product managers, ideally current title or past, but ideally current. And now some of the keywords that would help us identify the IT, those technical managers. Agile, Scrum, Kanban. software development or software developers or software development, backlog grooming epics user stories, those product managers who work with Scrum teams usually have some backlog. They have backlog is a list of tasks, essentially. They call it fancy backlog. Grooming means identifying what tasks to work on, to clean up some old tasks and come up with a list of tasks to work on. Epics are projects. User stories are tasks. Product roadmap, Looker, Kibana, Power BI are some of the analytical tools, and SQL. SQL is the structured query language, which is used to analyze data. So with these keywords, we would find product managers who are technical, who did something with data. Of course, we could add some more keywords related to travel, because travel was one of the industry experience, or we can just apply this as the industry, travel industry, on LinkedIn in the search filter. Experience with online payment methods, we can certainly also review. So yeah, these are the sourcing keywords. What else? Benefits, work methodology. Yeah, they offer 2 times salary to cover relocation costs, some stock options, visa support, like some typical bonuses, but the relocation package is quite cool. And the rest, I guess, is not as important for us, so we can skip it. I skipped also the responsibilities because these are quite straightforward. So to curate the backlog, communicate the status and schedule delivery, negotiate the roadmap. So this is what every product manager does anyway, but this is the important part because that helps us identify who exactly to look for, and also to identify if the person we are talking to is a good fit based on these self-assessment questions. Damini asks, do you have options to filter industry? Yes, we have. So we will filter travel, for example. And Denisa mentioned ROI discovery. So ROI stands for return on investment. ROI, return on investment. So there are different metrics, different KPIs that these product managers take care of. They may include, for example, the effectivity of the development team. You know, how long does it take to implement a new feature from the idea to the feature being in production? So there are some KPIs. And once those features are implemented, what is the return on investment? Because it costs tens of thousands of euros, one larger feature. If you just count, say 2-3 developers who worked on a feature for 2 months, then the costs are suddenly 2 times 10,000 euros. You have at least 20,000-30,000 euros per feature. And then the question is, was it worth to develop the feature? Like, did the feature increase the conversion? Did the feature bring some more revenues? So how can the product owner answer this question if he, for example, cannot analyze the data? So there is this method that can help the product manager analyze if it was even worth implementing this feature, which it's after the feature has been done, right? So if it was negative ROI, well, then they just sort of write off the investment. But at least it's good to learn from the experience and potentially not implement it in some other market. So sometimes development teams test one feature in one area, in one market. And then if it works, then they can replicate it in other markets within the application. But if the ROI, return on investment discovery, doesn't show any improvement in some of those important metrics, like conversion or revenues, then they would not implement it in those other locations, for example. Okay, so with this, we covered the JD. And now the question is, how do we find the ideal candidate, right? So let me open up LinkedIn Recruiter. And also just thinking about relocation while the LinkedIn Recruiter is loading, we need to think about how to make it appealing and to who do we make it appealing. Like, why would some people want to relocate to the Czech Republic? So when I'm talking to candidates, I, for example, tell them that Czech Republic is in the Central Europe, and it's precisely in the sweet spot with lower costs of living than in the Western Europe, but higher standard of living than in Eastern Europe. So I tell candidates, hey, you know what? You can also relocate to London or to Germany or to Switzerland, but the costs are just prohibitively high. Like you would pay so much in London for an apartment, or you would pay just so much money every month for living for an apartment in Switzerland. Like you don't want to do it, right? But at the same time, the living standard is high, much higher than in Eastern Europe. In Eastern Europe, you would have lower standards, lower cost of living, but also a lower standard. But the Central Europe is exactly in the sweet spot because it will cost you less to live in Prague, for example, or in Brno in the Czech Republic. But the living standard is much higher than in Eastern Europe or in Ukraine, in Russia. And that's probably why so many people from Russia relocate to Prague. And this just resonates so well when I say this sentence. And it's fact that a lot of people from Russia relocate to Prague. So, but also they relocate to London, right? But I highlight Prague as the attractive destination. So we just need to position it so it is appealing to people who are in Ukraine, or we can connect it to the political situation in Ukraine. And quite a lot of people also want to relocate from Russia because of the political situation. It's not very stable. One of the candidates I was talking to doesn't want to raise their child in Russia. So they want to move out of Russia and raise the kid in Europe. So this could be also one of the sales messages to approach these people in the Eastern Europe with. So we can just go to our testing project and clean it up from the last testing search. And we can start from scratch. We are looking for the product manager. So let's start with these titles. Where was it? Product manager, technical product manager, IT product manager. Technical product manager. IT product manager. And let's just go with product manager. Current or past? Well, it's so annoying that by default, LinkedIn has current or past. I just would like to set current by default. And then we want to use some other keywords just because we have so many people, 800,000. That's just crazy, right? So why don't we only focus on people who are in Moscow. And you see there are different locations: Moscow, metropolitan area. I'm not sure which one to choose, but I'll rather choose all of them. Moscow, Russia. So in Moscow, technical product managers, we have 4,200. That's way too many to go through. I usually say that like 200, 300, when we see, then that's a good indication that we have a good targeted, well-targeted search. With 4,200, that's just way too many, right? So we don't want to go through so many profiles. So we need to include some more filters. Seniority could be one of them, or years of experience, or what else? We could go for keywords. Why don't we start with keywords? Some of these: Agile, Scrum, Kanban. So I would type one of these three. It doesn't have to be necessarily Agile. So Agile or Scrum or Kanban. Someone who did software development, or he or she may write on the profile, I worked with software developers, or I did software development. So let me also include that here. I need these parentheses, of course. And we will get to maybe 100, 200 profiles. Let's see. 200 profiles. That's awesome. Exactly. What else? Backlog, grooming, epics, user stories, product roadmap, Looker, Kibana, Power BI, SQL. I could also include. We want someone who has the SQL skill. Let's try it. If we get 100 people, that will be awesome. Wow, boom, it's here. 100 people. The product owner, that's also a good one. Lead product owner. So how about I open up Ekaterina? As a little refresher, we are looking for someone senior with at least 3 years of product management experience, someone who can understand the product development lifecycle, someone who has the experience with root cause analysis, but they would probably not write this on their profile, and someone who is technical, someone who can analyze data, someone who can use BI tools. So let's see if there is any indication that Ekaterina could be the right fit. I really enjoy developing in this area, starting projects from scratch in the field of IT. That's important. Marketplace for farmers. I joined the company before launching the projects. Brand media, Scrum. She conducted agile ceremonies. That's great. And what else? Skills. Scrum, SQL. She did something with Microsoft SQL Server. Data analytics, very good. Product analysis, product analytics, very good. That's actually quite important keyword. I would include it in our notepad. Where is it? No, I'll just include it to this search. Product analysis. But the thing is, you probably noticed, now I included these two skills, but the way LinkedIn interprets these is either or. So find profiles who have either SQL or product analytics. And you probably noticed that before we had 106 profiles, now we have 124, which is not what we wanted, or I wanted. I wanted to zoom in, and LinkedIn sort of gave me another 20 profiles to go through. So what I need to do, instead of doing it this way, I need to change it here and write and. Oh, what's going on? And, oh, okay, edit, SQL, and, like, what's going on here? I want to change it, SQL and product analytics. And I hit enter, and now it will interpret as a Boolean operator, as a Boolean string. And I will get less people, maybe just 20, who have both SQL, exactly 20 people. Ekaterina is one of them. Igor is one of them as well. But there is another synonym that I could use instead of product analytics. The synonym would be or product analysis. So let's see if we get slightly more profiles. If 30, then it would be awesome. 47. Good, good, good. So we want people who have the SQL skill and either product analytics or product analysis. It's either or. Some people write on their profiles product analysis, some write product analytics, some write both product analysis and product analytics. So we recruiters just need to be able to use these alternatives. So Ekaterina led us slightly in this case. I'm just looking at her profile and I see like, hey, product analysis or product analytics, this is such an awesome keyword. And now if I reopen her profile again, you would see that it would be highlighted. Those two keywords, product analysis and product analytics. Let's see if I scroll down. You see, it's highlighted now. That's good, good, good. Is there anything else? Data analytics also. That's good. So SQL or data analytics so we could have, because these two sort of indicate the same. Someone who analyzed data, someone who used SQL or did data analytics. So you know what? I'll have this alternative with SQL or data analytics or data analysis. It needs to be in brackets, of course. So we have SQL or data analytics or data analysis and product analysis or product analytics. And we have 58 results. And now I'm getting really comfortable with this result set. So we went from 4,000 to 800 to 200 to 20, and then from 20 back to 47, now 58. And I'm getting comfortable with this result set. But let's see, let's review more profiles. Ekaterina is apparently a good profile. How about Alexander? I'm an executive with large coding experience. Okay, that's good. As a CTO, product manager, team leader, he knows Scrum. Oh my, like this is the first time I see Scrum written this way. So let me just take a screenshot of this and I'll send it to our colleagues. That's so cool. Work ethics, C#, Java, Python, senior product manager. Rick is asking if I'll post the replay in the members area. Yes, yes, yes. So you see he is quite technical, used to be a CTO, so great background, really, very technical. So this is also a great profile. What about Dimitri? Dimitri, product manager, 10 years in IT, software development, senior product manager. Product analysis, software development, SQL, Scrum, Kanban. You see, you look at this profile and you really quickly see that this is exactly who we were looking for. Someone who is today a product manager, someone who is senior, someone who is in IT, someone who was doing some SQL, some data analysis. So you see, like, such a good sourcing strategy, right? Such a good approach. If you like really understand who are you looking for, and then you target these people. I'm not saying that there are no other product managers in IT outside of this group of 58, but this is the starting point, right? At first, we go through the most ideal candidate, those candidates who are most likely to be the best fit. And out of those 4,200, these 58 would be the best. And then you go through another 200, and then another 200. And then at some point, you just stop because you will have enough great candidates. So in this case, these guys seem to be good. Let's just open up randomly one more. Senior technical product manager. How about this one? Senior technical product manager, created roadmap, defined goals, introduced Scrum practices. Senior product manager, So also good, performed graph data analysis during reverse engineering. I don't even know what does it mean, but it sounds cool. Agile, waterfall, software development, Kanban, data analytics, data analysis. It's interesting. Usually they have both, right? SQL. So that's good. That's good. Again, a great profile. So we were able to find really good profiles relatively quickly. So that's awesome. Sure. Good night. Good night, Rick. Thanks for joining. It must be 1 a.m. Already in Singapore. So thanks for staying with us this late. So yeah, we found one good product manager after another. I would probably write the first one, Ekaterina. How could we attract her with some interesting message, with something that would stand out? What would you guys suggest? What do we start with? She seems to be a good fit. She did something with software development, Scrum, SQL, product analytics. She has been doing this for quite a lot of years. She started IT career 14 years ago as a tester, analyst, consultant, business analyst, product owner, product manager. So she has 2-3 years of experience. 3 years of experience. So we could reach out to her right away. What do you guys think? How do we cut through the noise? What would you suggest? What do I write her? So just thinking about where she is at professionally, she's at the right spot. She has been progressing from an analyst, from a tester through an analyst, business analyst, to a product owner, product manager. So that's a very nice, clear career path. She is based in Russia. So maybe she is thinking about relocating. Maybe she is not satisfied with the political regime. Maybe she is not satisfied with what's going on in Russia, and maybe she's already frustrated and fed up with what's going on. And we can probably use it in the message. So let's try crafting it. Hi, Ekaterina. What could we highlight? Something personal, something nice, something that would stand out. Is there anything interesting? Moscow Institute, testing requirements. Hi, Katerina. I noticed you sailed through different IT positions, starting with testing, through analytics, up to product management. And I'm working with an engineering team here in the Central Europe that's rapidly expanding, and as they onboard new developers, onboard dozens of new developers, 500 plus now. They are also looking for product managers. I'm wondering if you've ever considered, or given the political situation in Russia, I'm wondering if you've ever considered relocating to the Central Europe, or to Central Europe. A lot of IT professionals relocate to Prague because it's such a sweet spot with high living standard and lower living costs than in Germany or London. Would you like to discuss this relocation option? Would you like to discuss how could you relocate, or how would you like to discuss these job opportunities in the Czech Republic or Spain, in the Central Europe or Spain? Probably something like this. What do you guys think? Sounds quite good, no? Hi, Katerina. I noticed you sailed through different IT positions, starting with testing, through analytics, up to product management. And I'm working with an engineering team here in the Central Europe. Should be without the, right? Here in Central Europe, that's rapidly expanding. And as they onboard dozens of developers, 500 plus now, or it's actually 400 in total. They are also looking for product managers. Given the political situation in Russia, I'm wondering if you've ever considered relocating to Central Europe. A lot of IT professionals relocate to Prague because it's such a sweet spot with high living standard and lower living costs than in Germany or London. Such a sweet spot with high living standard, but significantly lower living costs than those in Germany or London. would you like to discuss these job opportunities in Central Europe or Spain? And the subject line would be moje, or what is it? Pole, moje, wow. So subject line would be relocation to Europe, relocation to Central Europe, Prague or Spain, something like this. Sounds quite good, no? Relocation to Central Europe, Prague or Spain. Hi, Katerina. I noticed you sell through given the political. Would you like to discuss? You are sold. Yeah, exactly. It's all about positioning, right? It's just about really thinking about where people are at and then positioning the opportunity as something in contrast with their current frustrating situation. Dozens. Cool. So this is the message. Check it out. Okay, so let's send it. If she responds, I'll let you know. Would be a good fit, really. She's a good one, apparently. Just looking at the experience, the career path, it's so straightforward. Like that's exactly what I would like to see on a resume. Someone who started in testing and then did some IT, then was an analyst, then a business analyst or a project manager, then product owner, product manager, like super clear, even though she's been here just for 11 months. So maybe she will not really change after 11 months, but who knows? Like if she wants to relocate, she will maybe even change earlier than normally she would. Okay, anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to walk you guys through this, how to think about this, how to position it, how to make it exciting. And this is the fun part, right? Like if we were just copying and pasting some messages, it would be so boring. But this part about thinking how we can help them to get out of the misery, whatever it is. For some people, it may be the location. For others, it could be a job that is not paying well. For others, it could be a job with a manager that sucks. For others, it could be a project that is super boring. So we just help people out of the misery. So let's make some, let's make it more entertaining for us as well, right? Let's not just send some boring messages. Anyway, cool. So thanks, Mark. Thanks, Elizabeth. Thanks, Chris, for joining. If you guys don't have any questions, thanks, Aneta, for the thumbs up. Rick, you are already sleeping in Singapore after midnight. So thanks, Elizabeth. And anyway, just go, guys, and hunt these people, submit to the client. As I mentioned, they are looking for more product managers. So just go after them and we will interview them, we will screen them, we will submit to the client. So if you have access to our talent pool or the job board, then just submit some of these candidates and we will take it from here. Thanks, Maria. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Zimri. Thanks, Zimri. Thanks a lot. Thanks, JB. And I'll see you during the next sourcing webinar. Bye, guys. Bye-bye.